All right, what's up, everybody? So, yeah, I don't even know where to begin. If you if you're somebody that's been looking at any kind of news, any kind of social media over the last few days, I mean, it's just going fucking insane, right? People are pulling up the fact that we have the L tier video from Epstein's cell. They're linking the death of fucking Kurt Cobain and Michael Jackson and a bunch of other people. The whole Pizzagate, cream cheese, shrimp, grape soda, whatever you want to call it, the code language that they've been using, people are figuring that out. I mean, honestly, why do you need to refrigerate or freeze beef jerky? Can we please get a fucking answer on that from somebody who investigated the case? I mean, I don't even know where to go at this point. And now, because, I'm a science enthusiast, okay? I'd love to do videos about that in the future on this channel. Maybe one day when we get this whole shit fuck show under control. But now we're seeing like all this UFO stuff, and we have Obama coming out making a comment like, "Oh yeah, aliens are real." And then he waits like 10 hours to send out a clarification message on Twitter about like, "Well, statistically in the universe, given what we know about physics and cosmology in general, there's a really good chance that there's aliens out there." But that's not really what he made it sound like. It's like he's trying to muddy the water. And then we've got even more stuff about the fucking Hadron Collider over in Geneva. People are going nuts about this Satanism shit with Jeffrey Epstein, and it's bleeding out into science. And at some point, I was just thinking, like, what the fuck is going on? I look at this Epstein thing, of course, because that's where I've been spending most of my time. That's where most of my attention has been. It seems like the best course of action to take to get some real accountability within our government and use Epstein's dead body, which apparently a lot of people are figuring out that it was like a fake cadaver or something like that too. But I wanted to use that to spear the government, the giant bloated pig of a government that we have now that is consuming everybody and everything. But then we have, like Congressman Mace came out and she said, "Oh, we just need to shame the perpetrators. We need to focus on the victims. Donald Trump is exonerated." And I've just been thinking about that. I'm like, where the fuck do we go from here? I mean, didn't Ro Khanna just come out and say that the FBI was legitimately investigating Leslie Wexner for being a fucking co-conspirator? And so it's like, why are we shaming anybody? Why aren't they going to prison? And then I was just thinking about the fact, too, that Leslie Wexner, the motherfucker is like 90 years old. And I'm wondering how they pulled out Leslie Wexner's name from these files, along with all of these other obscure people as co-conspirators that I had never heard before. I mean, I don't recognize any of those other 5 names. The only one I recognized was Leslie Wexner's. And again, the guy's like 90 fucking years old. He's about to die anyway. And I'm just thinking, is this really the best they can do? I mean, what's going on? Because this is something that I've suspected for a long time. Like, if we're gonna get anybody, they're gonna consolidate this shit onto people like Trump, people like Leslie Wexner, all these really, really old fucks that have basically made all their money. They're gonna die anyway. And I just haven't heard anything since, okay? It's really weird to me. And then we have Pam Bondi come out and she's like, "Yep, that's all the files, guys." I know there's internal government correspondence which affirms the fact that there's 40 terabytes of digital information, such as secret camera footage that we collected and were passing around at one point. But these 3.5 million, mostly emails and text documents with a few videos and pictures and audio files thrown in, that's gonna be about it. That's everything. And you know what? I'm just fucking sick and tired of it. I'm fucking sick and tired of spending so much of my goddamn time trying to figure out what's going on. Because it's abundantly clear to me at this point that nobody within the government is actually trying. They're just fucking not. If anything, they're making things worse. They're muddying the waters. They're coming out with all kinds of bullshit now. And Barack Obama just throwing that out there like, "Oh yeah, aliens, guys." And then, it's like he clears it up later, but I feel like they're trying to fucking confuse everybody. It's like the vile slime that is leaking out and oozing from every pore of this big, nasty fucking animal that the federal government has turned into has just become so undeniable at this point that instead of trying to turn the knob down and suppress it, they're just turning it all the way up. They're just going full blast at this point. They're like, "Yes, let's send the DHS in to your communities. Let's send ICE into your communities. Let's send the Border Patrol in. yeah, look at these files, look at this, all these pedophiles that we're not going to hold accountable. That's all of them, by the way. Yeah, there might be some video that you guys found that we told you didn't exist, and like a million other fucking lies and inconsistencies. But that's it. And oh yeah, aliens. And by the way, on that alien thing, right? I know I keep coming back to that. Why do we have like 6 people who have testified in front of Congress now from the government about that, like telling the entire world that we have fucking alien craft? I feel like that's something that's going on in the background that many people aren't paying attention to. That's just like this big fucking what the fuck, right? And I gotta say, like, that's either true or the government is doing some kind of really weird fucking psyop with that. Like, I honestly don't even know what to make of that. And then I try to look up some stuff about theoretical physics, and we have some kind of insider coming out at CERN saying, oh yeah, like, we're opening portals to other dimensions and shit, and there's beings from 45,000 years in the future. I mean, seriously, go look this up for yourself. People are saying the weirdest fucking shit. People that are in and around the Large Hadron Collider, working on it, whatever, over there. There's just people coming out saying this stuff. And it's seriously like, who is in the background dialing the knobs all the way to full blast? Like, full send every conspiracy, guys. Let's affirm it. Let's start really torquing society here and get everybody really nice and confused. And that is what I feel like is happening here. I feel like we're at war or something. I feel like this is all intentional. And of course, we've got all this other stuff that I haven't even mentioned going on, like the car kill switch bill. They want to be able to kill your car. The flock cameras. They want to be able to watch you everywhere. I mean, I hear now Palantir is connected to Discord and their whole Real ID thing, and the Real ID thing is exploding on the internet. And it just doesn't matter what kind of angle that you're looking at here with any conspiracy theory. It is total fucking chaos. And what it almost feels like is that they are so close to whatever stupid little goal that they have, whatever little tyrannical bullshit that they've got going on. They're so close to the finish line and they're so far behind on the cover up that they literally have just said, okay, flush the media space, flush our society with all kinds of information for them to grab onto and really rip into, so that we can just finish out whatever it is that we need to do. That's what I think they're doing. I think they're very close to some goal. Whatever that is, I honestly don't fucking know, because at this point, there's so much going on. I mean, again, I still haven't covered everything. We got World War III brewing with Iran. We're going to be striking Iran at some point, supposedly. Apparently, we're trying to, like, block in China and, like, contain them as a country. For some reason, like, that's something that we're interested in doing. We have the whole Satanism thing, which apparently spans from, like, the science realm to the Epstein realm and everything in between. The fucking cult of Baal and all that. It's like, it's just getting fucking crazy with all the religious stuff that's getting involved now, and people are out there literally saying that, like, a lot of these elites are casting spells, like money spells and power spells and stuff, like they're mages and shit. And I'm just taking a step back here, and I'm looking at all of this going on, and all the charts are like way up in every sector of conspiracy theory that anyone you want to pick. They're all through the roof. And it's not just because people are amped up. It's because there's literally like people in every section saying shit. People with some level of standing are saying shit, just like Obama. And by the way, the whole Obama thing, right? I swear I'm done with the alien shit. I think he said that to get people riled up even more about that. But I've been thinking about Obama because he's been coming up a lot in the Epstein files too. And I got really, really worried as I was thinking about it today, because I remembered, wasn't it a company that he owns that funded that movie, Leave the World Behind? You know, the movie where, like, a family goes on vacation and then the entire fucking world implodes and there's like a 3-stage strategy to basically bring down the United States. And I just can't get that out of my mind, because I'm pretty sure, if I'm recalling correctly in the movie, this was like one of the things that happened. It was a complete information overload as a part of one of the 3 steps in this little system of destruction that was implemented against the United States, where they essentially like took down the grid, completely flooded the information space, and then ruined a bunch of the infrastructure all at once. And the plan in the movie was like that America would collapse in on itself. It would just, crumble under the weight of its own ineptitude at that point, as it couldn't meet any of the demands or expectations of all of the citizens, you and I. And I just remember watching that movie, and it was so weird. If you haven't watched it, it's so weird. Like, I remember there was this scene where a bunch of deer come up to 2 of the women, right? This is like halfway through the movie when everyone kind of knows like something's seriously wrong here. And the deer, like they part, right? They like form into two groups, and in the middle of those two groups comes the alpha deer, and he stares at these two women. This deer is staring at these two women. And the two women are like freaked out by the deer, and the deer are just freaked out in general because like their sixth sense is going off because all this shit's going on. And the two women basically just decide to start flailing their arms and screaming to scare the deer away. And what I took away from that scene in that movie was that when this happens, if this were to happen, that is, if this were to happen, I don't want to say when, although it's very suspicious how everything is going right now. If this were to happen, basically what that scene in the movie is saying is that the human beings, right, you and I, all the citizenry of the United States, we will be no more competent in handling the situation than the wildlife out there. We will be reduced to basically the same stature in terms of our ability to survive. And I thought that was a very, very interesting scene coming from a movie, again, which was funded by a company which is owned by Obama or the Obamas or whatever. But that wasn't the only scene either, because at the end of the movie, there's this little girl in the whole movie. The whole movie, this little girl, all she's concerned about, even with all this fucking chaos and weird shit going on, all she's concerned with is watching like the last season of Friends. And the movie basically ends when this little girl walks into a bunker inside of a house. Like she set out to go find like a DVR or something. She's trying to find some house out there or something with the last season of Friends accessible in some format, whether it's DVD or a recorded session or something like that. But she literally finds a bunker inside of a house. And basically what I took away from that, that's the last scene, what I took away from that is basically the meek will inherit the earth. At the end of the day, it's the little girl who doesn't give a shit about what's going on, just wants to watch Friends, completely numb to the situation. She's the one that finds refuge. And to me, that was basically the same as, yes, saying the meek will inherit the earth. Because they will be the ones, of course, not fighting for anything, not trying to reign supreme in the New World Order, but instead sitting back and basically doing nothing. Basically just consuming whatever the kind of slop they're putting out there now, and just shutting up and sitting down and enjoying whatever little kind of media or entertainment keeps them distracted long enough to not realize that they're living in a shithole world now. And that's really, like, that's what came to mind as I was thinking about not just the Epstein shit, but the fact that every conspiracy out there right now is being dialed up to 11. That is what really came to mind, was that movie. Because I don't know about you, but it just feels like something is different. It feels like something is terribly, terribly off. And I don't know if that's the sixth sense that we all still have. To some degree, we can feel that there's something that's just not right. It's sitting right below the surface. I don't know exactly what it is, but I just starting to feel like nothing we see is genuine anymore. There is no real attempt to do anything to solve any problem. And just to come back and revisit the problems real quick, on top of everything that we've mentioned, we have stuff that's an inevitability at this point, like our financial situation in this country. We have a representative here in the state of Arizona. His last name is Schweikert. He represents one of the districts here in our state. He was giving out some numbers to Congress. He's been giving out numbers to Congress for like the last 5 months. You can look them up for yourself. He has these nice big display boards that he brings with him. And of course, every seat behind him is empty. Nobody cares to listen to what Schweikert has to say. But he's saying stuff like, Medicare and Social Security, those funds are going to be completely zeroed out in about 6 years or 7 years. And when that time comes, there will be a massive cut to the checks that are written to the beneficiaries of those programs. Which I'm sure, if you're older or if you're on disability or something, you already know this, but there's already not a lot of money coming in for you. It's already not enough, and it will be cut even more. And if you guys didn't know this, they booted up quantitative easing again like 3 months ago. We are going to see even more inflation over the next 4 or 5 years. And at this point, because we can't get spending under control, it's just fucked. Like I'm just going to let it fly out there. We're going to see hyperinflation at some point. There's nothing we can do about it. Our best chance at this point is some kind of a currency swap, and they're working damn well hard at fucking co-opting something like a CBDC so that they can get us all on that and just control us even more. Because that's what this is all about. This is all about fucking controlling us. All these problems, they don't want to work hard to fix them. They want to remain in control. They don't want to give up the wealth that they've accumulated, because if you didn't know this too, 20% of the people in this country own 90 fucking percent of the wealth. As you go to the top 10%, it's about half. It is so fucking bad. You have no idea how bad the wealth inequality has gotten to in this country, which is just another inevitability. If you look back in history, the number one reason why revolts and revolutions happen, from what I've been told by historians, is because of wealth inequality situations, kind of like the one we're seeing now. That's the number one cause of revolts and revolutions. And so all that being said, I want to say something tangible here that people can actually grab onto. Like, what the fuck do we do about this situation? Because you can't just live off grid, okay? I was thinking about that today. There's a lot of homesteaders out there. They're off the grid and everything. Well, what happens when the government becomes so authoritarian in 10 to 15 years that they can literally just come out to you when you're living off grid and just take your shit? Because at some point, if people realize that that's a good option, well, the government's going to say, nah, I don't think so. Fuck you. We're actually just going to take everything. If our country actually collapses and the government falls apart and you just have a bunch of basically very powerful people that take over, kind of like what happened when the USSR collapsed and now we have Russia, and you basically have, like, you know, your government, but then you have really what you have is a bunch of fucking oligarchs in the background controlling everything, because they were the ones that had everything when it fell apart. They bought up all the means of production, everything. They bought up all the stuff to keep making money and basically secured their position at the top of the ladder forever, in perpetuity, eternally, for not just them, but their families and their entire lineage for the end of time. That's kind of the thing that I think might result from all of this. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting very, very close to that, and they are really trying to turn up the dial to make a collapse happen, along with God knows what else is going to come in the next 6 months. Some people are talking about false flag attacks even, because we did have a shit ton of people that we don't even know who or where they are at this point in this country due to the last 4 years, due to Biden's presidency. You know, thanks to him. He played his part in the grand scheme, if there is one. Good job, you fucked us in the ass with that. And now Donald Trump is making sure to perfuse our entire fucking country with all kinds of useful idiots with guns. Which, on that note too, I want to point this out. Did you know that they're now giving student loan forgiveness? It's like up to $60,000 to people who join ICE, along with like sign-on bonuses and benefits. Can you believe that shit? Like, they're actually creating a situation, because I could make a whole video about the universities and the loan situation and student loans and shit. It is fucking corrupt as fuck. We can all see that, right? The student loan debt is up to like what now? Almost $2 trillion. Absolutely nobody can pay it back. All these job markets are oversaturated. The price of tuition keeps going up, despite the fact that a degree now is more useless than ever before. And in a lot of cases, they don't even teach you shit. But now, thanks to the government, that's a huge problem for a lot of people. And guess what? They're now willing to offer you the solution to the problem they created in the form of student debt relief. And how long is it before they start some big fucking war and they do the same thing? Where they're like, oh, are you behind on your taxes? Oh, are you behind on your student loan? Oh, you got some other kind of debt? Guess what? Not only will we give you debt forgiveness for your taxes, your student loans, or whatever else, we'll also give you a sign-on bonus, and we'll give you some pretty sweet benefits as well. Because when I saw the big beautiful bill, that's what I was thinking. You're going to eliminate all these tax credits going forward, like almost every single tax credit out there, along with a whole bunch of other shit, which will allow you to basically scrape a shit ton of money back out of the population and into your hands. And then in the same fucking bill, you're going to increase the budget of Border Patrol and the military by $200 billion a year. Holy fucking shit, man. Like, guys, this is getting so fucking bad. You know it's bad when they're now offering you solutions to the problems that they created. This is what we call a positive feedback loop, and it's so fucking bad. And I don't even know which conspiracy to really dig into anymore. I don't know if it matters. Because at this point, the only thing I know is that if anything is going to change, it has to come from the outside at this point. There is no internal force in the government that is going to fix this. And so I want to ask you guys a question. What is the best course of action here? Do we try to starve these parasites, if that's what we want to call them, the technology guys, the government? Do we want to try to stop like paying for services and stuff like that? Stop paying for certain technologies, stop paying our taxes even, and just try to starve this animal? Do we want to go break into the fucking DOJ building, get all the information we want? Because without doing something like that, we're basically just flying blind at this point. We're basically always going to be in a position where we're just seeing whatever the fuck they want us to see. Do we try to resist passively? Do we just get on welfare, stop working, grind this whole fucking country to a halt until we can figure things out? I don't fucking know. I wish I had the answer. I wish I knew which solution was best. But I think at this point, honestly, there really is no pretty or good solution. There is no one button fix. At least not that I know of. I know somebody in my comments a while back, maybe you're still subscribed, somebody was mentioning something about a constitutional convention of some kind. I still haven't looked into that. Haven't really had the opportunity to, but I will soon here. But if you know of some kind of, real fix here for this whole situation, because I just want to put that out there that at this point, I don't think we're just dealing with a pedophile cabal. I think that the whole fucking system is completely rotten. And whatever this grand scheme is, if there is one, it's getting very, very close to being done because they're going burnout on this now. They are cranking every conspiracy up. They're giving you everything that you need in order to scream and shout about anything that you want at this point. And I just don't see that as a non-intentional thing. And here's the thing too, even if it is non-intentional, even if these people are completely fucking up and falling down on their face, which I don't think is the case, well then that's fine. But we should all really, really, really try to think of some solution here because it is starting to seem like, to me at least, that that's not what's happening. I think there's just too many people who just don't want to let go of what they have. I think this is like the core of the issue. You have way too many people that are way too satisfied with what they have, and our country has been making really bad decisions for a very long time. And you can see that in the amount of debt that we have. It's approaching, $38 trillion? That didn't get there because we had too many tornadoes or the food that we eat is poisoned. No, that is a cumulative magnitude that we see now due to many, many bad decisions and a lot of apathy and a lot of complacency. And I think that at this point, the people at the top or the people involved in any part of any cover-up at all, they're all way too comfortable. They don't want to give up their seats. They've probably been promised something in whatever it is that comes next, whatever that next phase of this fucking plan is. They've been secured some little seat at the kiddie table so that they can continue to eat. But to expect that those people will get up, stop eating, and go through some hardship in order to do the things that we really need to do in this country to actually fix the country and move forward in a new and innovative way is just unreasonable. It's irrational to me at this point to think that they would do that. I don't think any of them would give up that comfort and security that they have. They're too scared. Even though you and I, we're all basically living that life every day under the loaded gun of uncertainty at this point, not knowing what's going to come next, which is really, it's really sad. If I had one message out there to everybody in government at this point, I would just ask you, hey, do you really think what you're doing is having a net positive? Or do you think that you're serving some role in which is now being used to launder a whole bunch of bad behavior through? Because there's all kinds of essential institutions. If you take away law enforcement, for example, you're going to have crime run rampant. Well, nobody wants that, right? A lot of people don't know how to defend themselves like that. And honestly, a lot of people shouldn't have to. That's not how a high-functioning society becomes a high-functioning society, by everybody carrying a fucking gun around all the time and constantly, thinking about who's the next person I'm going to have to shoot, who's the next mugger that's going to come out and try to hurt me. No, we have a select group of people for that, and they keep things under control, and they're talented and good. It's called specialization, right? We let a few people do that so that the rest of us can do other things and specialize in other things, and that has the compounding effect that we've seen in the past in America. I don't know if we really see any value of that anymore. It doesn't feel like it, but you got to have something like a police department to take care of that stuff. But getting back to this analogy here with the police department, what happens when the police are catching all these fucking criminals all the time, keeping things, mostly safe, but in the background, there's all these really rich, powerful assholes that are accumulating power, and the police won't do anything about it. That's basically what we have going on here. We have a government which is shut down right now, and it's funny because it's like a non-essentials shutdown. So I'm wondering, why the fuck do we need any of that? If it's non-essential, then what the fuck are you doing with those programs in the first place? But what I'm really getting at here is that if you have this system that keeps a lot of people down, but lets a few people basically operate with impunity, how helpful really are you? You're actually the mechanism that is going to descend our country into authoritarianism. At some point, we have to stop making bad decisions. At some point, we have to pay the dues that we've created. We have to reap the seeds that we have sown. And boy, we've sown a lot of bad ones. But to just sit there in your position and get your benefits and get your financial relief while all kinds of other people are suffering, probably 80% of the population, and anyone really that isn't involved in government, where your paycheck is secured through tax dollars, what you are doing is you are basically suppressing people, and you are letting a whole bunch of really powerful, really nasty, potentially doing shit to babies and children type people get away with whatever they want. And look at what's going on. They are moving faster than ever. They are in a full-blown fucking sprint at this point. They've got fucking turbo rockets on their shoes. They are running so fast. And all of us can see it. And this whole apparatus that the people that are in our government are a part of are playing the fucking linebackers on the field, keeping the rest of us who actually want to move forward and have some goddamn accountability in this country from actually doing so. Just step down. Just step aside. At some point, the essential service that you provide becomes more of a detriment because the people that you're protecting above you, as few as they may be, are cumulatively worse than every common criminal that you are currently arresting. At some point, the equation no longer works out, and you cannot say that you are a net positive in your position in the system because you are keeping all of the common criminals from doing things like, yes, stealing, murdering, sexual abuse. Because if we don't have accountability for the major criminals, then they literally just accumulate power until they do anything they fucking want to do. And so that's it for this video. That's all I wanted to get out for now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.